Starting to clean this engine up. Starting to get it pretty clean. I think this is about the best I'm going to get it. Just using a razor blade, that's all I'm using. That's all I ever used. Maybe that's why I have a fucking head gasket problems all the time, but I don't think so. I think it's more running high compression on stock head gaskets, and maybe I had a warped block. I don't know. But I'm going to try it again with a different engine here, the one that we had in the video before. I only made a little video about tearing it apart. Well, that's shiny. Got the new one in there, new billet section. And we're going to put that on this engine. Been cleaning the top of it off. Get it ready for the new head gasket. I'm not sure how much more I need to clean on it. I got to figure out something to use. Get some of this other stuff off. I went ahead and blue Loctated this on just in case you don't want them coming off. It shouldn't come off. This won't come off because it's going to be pinched shut, but you don't want these coming out dancing around in flywheels, so I Loctated those on. I didn't put a new O-ring on just because it looks to be good, and I think it'll be fine, hopefully. There's a little oil here in there. No, that's just paint. There's the part numbers there for the flywheel bolts. You gotta get 6 of them. I know that says 5, but gotta get 6 of them. And then that'll let me put my flywheel on. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And you torque that to, I think, 85 to
88 to 95.
Oh, 88 to 95. And we'll probably try to get the whole 95 out of it using red Loctite. Never used the red Loctite, but I'm gonna use it this time. Everyone says to use it. So I'll go ahead and use it. I never do, but I'll just use a little bit of it and put them in there and get 90 foot-pound? 95. We'll try it on the ground like this. Might be a little difficult. New flywheel bolts in there. Looks pretty good. New throwout bearing here. We're going to put a little bit of, we already got some grease on the splines here. ACT gives you their stuff. It's more than enough. I'm just going to put a little bit back here around this, just a little bit to help it slide and everything and pivot. Okay, don't need much of it. I already put some on the ears of this thing too. You can see right there. It's a little bit. I'm gonna take this one here and I don't want a lot, but as you can see, it's smeared it all around. It's pretty good now. Now this can be a bit tricky getting this arm on. There we go. As you guys can see, this is different than OEM style. This is using a accent throwout bearing. So if there's any kind of rattle, it's just from this little bit of a play in this bearing sleeve that they use to make a sleeve for this. I actually have a kit. I'll show you guys later on. This one here was probably alright, but as you can see, it's doing that and they just barely move, but that's usually from heat. I think I can reuse that one. Now that's back on. All we have to do is put our arm back up here. We can reconnect that another later on, because I think what I'm going to try to do, guys, is lower this car back down, put the engine in here, lower this car back down on the ground like it normally would be, and take the short block and just go ahead and take the short block, the clutch and everything on it, and shake it in there. Just use the engine hoist just enough to kind of help hold it up. Alright, we got it all on there. All 6 bolts torqued to 26 foot-pounds. Everything's aligned. Should be good. The motor in there. Didn't take out the transmission. I left all the axles and everything like that in there. Never took none of that out. Took that wheel off just to try and do the timing belt and everything. Well, was able to get them in there. I only got 2 bolts holding it right now. I just got to get underneath and get the rest of them in. Put that plate on. Probably put the starter on already. Things like that. Alright guys, I forgot to even show you before, but I think I did take a couple pictures. Got this all cleaned up now. Had to put one new Fiera titanium retainer and spring in here because it got damaged off the build head that time. But all the Fiera stuff is inside of this head, so I'm hoping that means it's going to work. The machine shop said everything looked good, so I took it down to Victory Precision Machine in Virginia. Had them do that and deck the head on it as well. I got it sitting there like that. I shouldn't be, but as you can see, got it all decked out. Just wanted to show you guys that they were in there. And I got these all trimmed out here. You gotta trim the shit out of this one. It's probably about ready to go in. But trimmed it here and here so you can get the 12 in here. I just shave this one too. I can get it in up the top now, as you guys can see. This one you can just shave a little bit along the top and allow it to get in. This one just is good to go. This one's good to go. But it's this one and this one that you have to mess with. Take your die grinder. I happen to use the carbine bit I have. BMW studs in there. I should have probably painted the front of the block. Would have made it look better, but it'll be alright. But we got the BMW M10 studs in there. The 125 thread pitch down the bottom and the 1.50 at the top. Goes right through the head and everything. These are the ARP 2000s. As you can see, they got that little bit of a bulge right here. Reminds you of like a B series. And I usually put the studs on after the head, but I can't use the Allen because the Allen's down inside, which ARP said we're good to go. I mean, these are like brand new, all these head studs. They're not even barely used. But I'm going to put them in another car. As you can see, these are just a normal ARPs. And they're the 1.25 on both ends. But as you can also see, it doesn't have like that little bubble in them. But get it all cleaned up here. I'm going to clean it one more time. And I'm going to clean the head up. And I'm going to set the gasket on. And then I'm going to set the head on top of the gasket. Then I'll put the M12s in after that so it ain't so awkward. There's the gasket. We got the BMW studs in there. Everything looks really good. Cam sensor. Figure I'd put a new one in. The other one works, so but I'm just gonna go ahead and put a new one in. That's a simple install. Cams put in there, which are just stock XD cams, which are actually a little bit bigger cam than the ones that we had in it. The Beta 2s are actually a little bit bigger than the 1.8 in the stock 2.0 cam in the front. So actually, these are actually a little bit bigger, not much. They got the bigger ports. Much bigger ports, especially the intake. Look at that. Way bigger. Alright guys, I got the OBX high temperature thermo gasket. I actually have the Shark Racing one in the other car, in the parts car. Thought about pulling it out, but it's brand new. I'm just going to throw it in there. Easy install, just like your regular gasket, but figured I'd let you guys know that we got it. And it's supposed to reduce heat transfer. It's just supposed to help. Who knows if it does? I think it does. You can tell the difference just in the air ram if you use like a regular paper gasket versus that. Alright guys, I'll get some oil back here to clean up. Dripped out when I was doing I didn't put the valve cover in yet, but I'll clean that up. Figured I'd put that in there. It'll be nice and dirty now since I gotta clean that up. Wasn't thinking, but oh well. Ports almost look like they're already ports matched from factory, basically. I don't know what this head flows, but definitely flows more than Beta 1. That's for damn sure. OEM water pump. This right here is the O-ring that goes in this tube here. But I think I'm just going to let that alone, guys. I think I'm going to let it alone. It clearly didn't leak, so I'm just going to let it. I never had one of those leak. But that ring does come along in the OEM kit with a gasket. New pulleys. And it comes with a power grip Gates belt. They used to always say Hyundai on them now, but they're a Gates belt even from Hyundai. They would just have Hyundai written on them. They don't have that on them anymore, so that's that. But I'm glad I bought all this stuff before this virus shit. This virus stuff has got me completely broke. I done spent my slick money, my tune money, and working on some other savings that I had back and some other ideas. Shit sucks. It's a nice, the OEM pumps are so much nicer. Let me show you an aftermarket pump. Alright, here's an aftermarket pump. Made in Korea though. So it's not a, like, you know, a China one. But, as you can see, the OEM pump. This even has, a lot of the cheap ones don't have this. It holds your pulley on. That keeps it from moving. See, the OEM does as well. And these are always rounded where the OEM's not. But we're going to torque these. Always tighten them up a little bit. Let the silicone smush out the side, the gasket maker. And I still use a gasket. You really wouldn't have to. You just use the gasket maker itself. But I'm go ahead and do it anyway. I grabbed the wrong socket because you got to use two different kinds with this. And we'll do a couple little stages here. There's 5 bolts to this. Not many to it, but there's one done. You gotta do it in a stagnant position. There's another one. These are 17. There's that. Thermostat housing now, which is, there's 2 to this. When I do these, it's 17 foot-pounds.
14.
Oh yeah, these are 14. I don't know why I said 17. Guys, we got this mount back on there. You got the 2 bolts there and the one right there, and I went to 47 foot-pounds. You can go anywhere from 36 to 47. I went to 47.